That might not be a good thing. I can stir up trouble apparently with my random comments from time to
Oh,
time.
yeah, I've just fucking been a shitstorm the last week.
Yeah, I don't even know if we want to get into that. I was oblivious to the whole thing until I finally got like I was tagged on a post and I looked, I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, what did I miss? And I'm like, what did I say? And then I was like, oh, wow. Like that's funny. That's some random thing I randomly said set off such a but honestly, my response to the whole thing was I'm like, good, because clearly it created conversation. Whether that conversation was negative or positive, it doesn't matter. It still created conversation around a topic that is something that should have attention, at least with some regularity, because it's very important. So
Yeah,
I,
I agree.
you know, yeah, I don't like, regardless of, if it was drama or whatever, I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's like anything else, like, the whole, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Right.
I feel like that's the case because it's just like it brings attention to it and it gets people to at least, put their eyes on it, and that's never really a bad thing.
Yeah.
Even if there's like, animosity stirring. So, but
Yeah. And I think it's worth getting into, just for a minute or two because
sure.
it's just like, and I obviously have just gotten a shitstorm of DMs, comments in various public and private channels. Obviously, a few blog posts were made about it, comments on my posts, threads, shit on X. Um, so I think it's just worth addressing in one place because at this point I'm kind of just done replying to people about it. So the original thing that set this all off was about like 8 or 9 days ago. There was a clip from the one of the previous AMAs that we did. Um, and that clip was posted, which basically was just us saying, there's some people in the top 20 witnesses that we feel aren't doing enough for the blockchain. We didn't call anybody out by name. There was no shaming or name calling of any kind. Really no animosity either. It was just, hey, we all know this. I mean, you guys are in the threadcast right now. You can comment and say, whether or not you feel this way. That without naming anyone in particular, it feels like there are some top 20 witnesses who aren't doing enough to grow Hive. And frankly, witnessing blocks is just one thing that I think a witness should be doing. Um, it's not to say that witnessing blocks isn't important, and there's plenty of other disclaimers that we could give about it because clearly, when you're not stating every single side of your opinion, people start to make up shit. But for like witnessing blocks is just one thing that a witness should do. And in my opinion, witnesses should do more than just witnessing blocks. They should, be building something for the blockchain. They should be actively contributing, actively trying to grow. In general, I think the general statement could be made that a witness should be trying to make, Hive better. And if you say that, then I think witnessing blocks is a part of it, but not the whole story. Um, and clearly that got a lot of backlash. Some people felt like we were calling them out specifically. And, in my harsh tone of saying things, I'll just say that if you felt called out by that, then maybe you were meant to be called out by it. And maybe there's some element of truth to it if you feel butthurt about it. So that's my opinion on it. And obviously that's just sparked a whole other conversation about, well, who's doing what? The Leo Finance witness had an issue, and without getting into the other drama, which is private, the Leo Finance witness went down right around that when that post went up. So I'll let you draw your own conclusions about why that is. But I am working on the witness server, and I'll be personally managing that for the foreseeable future till I get someone more on the project who can manage that for me and just help us. Like I said, we've got a team of nearly 30 people now. So witnessing blocks is one thing we do. We obviously are doing a lot of other things like building INLEO, building Leo decks, building all the back end for that, working with the Dash team, working with the Maya team, working with the Thorchain team. I've mentioned that we're working with someone inside the Bitcoin community who's pretty prominent, and the ETH community because of the new key store integrations. So there's a lot that we're doing. There's a lot on the plate. And obviously, I'm not saying that it's okay that, our witness has been down for a week. But frankly, it's just, this whole thing just sparked a huge drama, and I'm not about the drama. I don't do drama. Many of you guys know that. I will always freely state my opinion, but I'm not aiming to stir up drama because it's just a waste of time. And I think a lot of the people who are involved in this drama actually are the people that we called out in the original video for not doing enough to grow Hive. And what I see them doing is just drama. They just witness blocks and stir up drama because honestly, they don't have anything better to do. So if that offends you, then maybe it's meant to. And I'm not going to apologize for that. And also, like what Mitch said, I'm not going to apologize for stirring up the conversation and getting people involved. I mean, now that this has become a drama, we've seen, accounts like Block Trades and Gandalf and others who are top 20 witnesses and are, prominent contributors to the blockchain actually step up and say something and be active. And obviously, a lot of what they're saying is attacking me, which is fine. But this conversation needs to be had more openly and more freely. I think it's pretty important that governance is talked about regularly. So if that pisses you off, if you don't want to see governance talked about, if you don't want to see people say, "Hey, I wish the top 20 leadership were doing more to grow the blockchain," then I think you're wrong. I think that conversation needs to be had more publicly and more openly. And honestly, I don't see a lot of other people, especially in the top 20, having weekly podcasts where they openly talk about things like this. So, you know, I I will take that backlash in order to have the conversations in public. I don't like the backroom chatters. I don't like, all the chat rooms on Mattermost where people are just talking shit and honestly not being productive. So I'm out there building shit, and if some things go down sometimes, I obviously am working hard to get those things back online. So yeah, I mean it's just it's one of those things where you're going to piss certain people off, you're going to make certain people happy because you're talking about these things. I got a lot of really positive comments in different places and DMs from different prominent Hive users that said, wow, I wish more people would speak up about this. So if some of this stuff offends you, then so be it. I merely wanted to bring up that I think that there's more that could be done, and I think we all feel that way as Hive, token holders, as Hive blockchain users, me as someone who builds on this blockchain. I want people who are doing positive things for Hive and growing this ecosystem. And frankly, there are some people and let's just expand it out of the top 20 so that we're not specifically calling people out, even though, that could be done as well. Let's just say in the top 30, top 40 witnesses, call people out for what they're doing, and you can do it in a constructive way. So, the Leo Finance witness went down right after that video went up. And that's obviously very ironic. It's also very coincidental. But that's something that we can be called out for in a constructive way to say, hey, get your witness back online and add these certain measures in place so that doesn't happen again. Have someone more trustworthy running the witness, have backups in place, have better monitoring tools. Like there's a lot of positive ways to be constructive, and that's what I want to see from the leadership of a blockchain.
Yeah. I mean, so the good part is like, residual way, like that happens, like even amongst, whatever arguments between witnesses and debates. And besides that, like that still happened because like I did see a little bit of the stuff. Because like I said, I was kind of oblivious to the whole thing until yesterday. And I was like, oh, what's going on here? They're talking about witnesses are kind of chatting it up here. And yeah, so I did see some, constructive, tips and tricks, so to speak, amidst all the bickering between y'all. Um, and at the end of the day, like it goes back to it's good the conversation happened, even if it was a lot of bickering, there was still some constructive stuff that happened within all that. And, you know, people are gonna people. Everyone has their own opinion. So, right, it's just like I agree and disagree with all of it because there are witnesses that's their sole focus is to just run the witness node. That's it. Make sure it functions, and they're not adding anything else. And that's fine, right? I might not, I might want someone that's, it's helping build the blockchain, but that doesn't matter. That's my preference, right? So, um, everyone brings different things. So it's just like, you look at the INLEO witness, and it's just like, all right, well, INLEO is bringing more to the blockchain than just doing a witness. Like that's just one aspect of the things. So you know, that goes back to that opinion of should it be in the top 20? Should it not? And we're all entitled to our opinion. And
Right.
I think the important thing at the end of the day is, grow the pie. Because basically what I'm saying, and it's, I feel like I'm like a mediator. Because the reality is like I don't like my skin in this game is I hold Hive, I hold Leo tokens. That's it. I don't do anything else. You know what I mean? I'm not involved, outside of trying to onboard normies, and grow the overall user base. Um, so, I look at it as everybody's a little bit right, everyone's a little bit wrong. But I like that a conversation happened. I like that there was focus and attention on it. But I think the biggest takeaway is that there is, I think, like a competitive mindset as opposed to a abundance mindset. So this is something I've learned in my investment communities where it's just like, you know, you're people like in real estate, let's say, like they're not sharing their stuff because they don't want like other people to potentially like scoop up their deals in their market or whatever. And it's just like that's the wrong way to look at it. Um, you got to look at the grow the pie perspective, as in like instead of trying to get a bigger piece of the pie, let's just grow the pie bigger so your piece gets bigger organically. And that is exactly what the initiative and viewpoint should be for the Hive blockchain, for every witness, for anyone running a dApp, for any user, any end user. Like the goal should be to grow the pie bigger, right? Because then everybody eats, as opposed to, and I'm just using this as an example because it's tangible, as opposed to like the witnesses where we know the top 20 is where a witness is generally profitable. So everyone's battling for that top 20. And it's just like, all right, well, I don't know if we grow the pie, if that changes with witnesses, where more than top 20 can be profitable or not. But at the end of the day, um, most of the Hive ecosystem is in a position where you grow the pie, everyone's going to benefit. So are there going to be outliers? And will witnesses maybe be one of those outliers? Sure. I don't 100% know because that's getting into the technicals that go beyond my knowledge. I am just a user that is invested in this blockchain. Um, but it's more about just pitching that perspective. So it's just like grow the pie, guys. Like let's collaborate, let's grow, and at the end of the day, everyone's gonna end up better off, and everyone's gonna end up in a better position, as opposed to the kind of like competitive type of environment. And don't get me wrong, competition does breed innovation, right? But it can be done in an abundance type mindset.